Hey, guys, welcome back. And whoo, do we have a lot going on for you today? Happy Thursday. I want to start off by saying that, but also there's so much happening today, especially because the reunion came out last night. We have a lot to cover. And of course, we will be doing that. But today we're back to talk about Vanderpump Rules and some of our ex-cast members in particular. We have a lot of details because it looks like Jax Taylor, Kristen Doty, Stassi Schroeder, Brittany Cartwright, and Bo Clark, well, they're about to be disinvited from one of probably the biggest filming events when it comes to Vanderpump Rules. We have all the details. Before we jump in, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. And don't forget to hit that notification bell because, well, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. Now with that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
All right, guys, so it looks like Jax Taylor, Stassi Schroeder, Bo Clark, Brittany Cartwright, and Kristen Doty are not going to be invited to Lala's wedding to Randall Emmett. Now, we know after COVID hit, Lala was planning on getting married. Stassi was planning on getting married. Stassi had a big wedding planned in Italy, but everything happened and came crumbling down when the world shut down. Well, of course, this was going to be an event that was going to be filmed. And originally, Lala said, I wasn't thinking I would want to film it because I want to keep that sacred to me. But for Stassi, she was more than happy to film it. She understood the assignment and knew if she filmed it, she would get a big payday for filming it in the first place. Now, this is the problem here. Breaking it down, Bravo has now fired 7 cast members. We lost Jax Taylor, Brittany Cartwright, Kristen Doty, Stassi Schroeder, Bo Clark, Brett Caprioni, Max Bowens, and then, of course, I've said this, Dana Cathan ended up quitting the show. So we lost all of these cast members, and what that means is if Bravo is actually going to film Lala Kent's wedding, then these fired cast members cannot be there because, well, one, they can't be in the shot. Bravo can't support that, and sure, they can edit things out, but you can't edit out the whole entire wedding, especially when you have 4 to 6 different individuals running around. Cameras are everywhere. And if they make it into a shot, if they're talking to Lala during a very intense moment with Sheena or Ariana, something like that, they cannot show this footage because Bravo is going to look like they're standing behind these cast members that they already fired for racially insensitive content. Okay, so just to be clear. Now, that's not the only thing that's going on. Vanderpump Rules Season 9 has had extremely low ratings. They've not topped over 700,000 viewers for one single episode. Actually, it's continuing to decline when at one point they were receiving about 1 million plus. They were actually topping some of the Real Housewives franchises, and that's a huge deal. That's why some of them were getting paid over $600,000 per season, but it looks like that's not going to happen anymore. Honestly, Jason keeps calling this the farewell season, and I'm hoping this is the season where we finally get to wrap up a lot of these storylines that we don't necessarily need anymore. And I hope, and this is just fingers crossed, that we do the finale in the Tom's New Restaurant. That way they can get a spinoff and we could get a totally new, fresh crew and cast. That's exactly what we need. These cast members have grown up. They're living in $1 million homes. They have businesses. Nobody's buying the fact that they would be working in restaurants anyway. So why not just start from scratch, have the Toms kind of under Lisa Vanderpump's supervision, run a whole new restaurant and see how that works. That way we get people who are striving and thriving to make it out into the industry. And we kind of get that bare bones of what Vanderpump Rules was in the first place. One thing I don't agree with is that they introduced a cast member last season, but she didn't get a bunch of airtime. But this season, they're kind of pushing her, Charlie Burnett. Last season, we all knew her as the girl that never tried pasta. And this season, it looks like Lala Kent is coming for her after calling her the B word, just to be fair. Sheena Marie, of course, is going to chime in on this. And she said, I think once Lala understood where Charlie was coming from, there's a lot more to the story with Charlie's family trauma. And that was made a little bit more clear. So Lala decided to back off. I find it fascinating that fans are kind of deeming Lala as the new Queen Bee, the new Stassi Schroeder on the show, who's running around and she gets to do whatever she wants. She's the fan favorite. I don't even know how we got to this point, but it looks like Katie Maloney is even following her, which blows my mind. This is how you know it's time to scrap it. Charlie's not the only new cast member this season. Of course, we know that we have Brock Davies, and that's going to be another main storyline on the show because he revealed to us, to Lala, to Randall, to Sheena, and the fans that he has a family. He has 2 other children. One's actually named Winter, even though his baby with Sheena is named Summer. And he hasn't seen his family in 4 years. Ever since he left his country, he decided to come here. He has had no contact. And they keep blaming this on COVID. But one of my big questions is, we haven't had COVID for 4 years. So how the hell are we blaming this on COVID? A lot of fans are ripping Brock apart, calling him a deadbeat dad, but Sheena swears that that is not the case. Now, I've talked about this a couple of times. Sheena, she has been nothing but friendly and sweet to me. She was one of my first friends in LA, and I would never have anything bad to say about her. But this obviously is going to be a red flag for a lot of fans. And she's saying that, well, she's swearing that they can explain it, and I hope that they do. But when I was watching the episode this past week and I saw where her mom, Erica, was questioning Brock a little bit and what is important to him, going to play pickleball, leaving them with the baby at 4 o'clock in the morning, you can see that there's this kind of tumultuous relationship. I feel like, because I've met Erica, that she only wants the best for her daughter, but then also she probably knows in her head, well, Brock hasn't been around his family in quite some time, so maybe there's something that's not adding up here. She's probably looking at this like, Sheena, hello, do your homework, because this right here is not making sense. And I don't blame her for it. I also wanted to kind of chime in on the fact that James, Kennedy, and Sheena both were demoted to friend roles last season. They were making significantly less money because they added a whole new cast, trying to phase out some of the older cast members who didn't have as interesting of storylines anymore. Well, this season, they obviously got promoted back to their original pay grade because, well, they dropped 8 cast members. So good for Sheena, good for James. But is James getting engaged to Raquel interesting on the show? Us seeing Lala's relationship with Randall, is that going to hold the show? Tom and Tom having these arguments with Katie and Ariana? And Sheena in this relationship with Brock? I'm not seeing it. Some would say that I'm being super intense and crucial. Some would say I'm being a hater. I'm not being a hater. I'm just covering this with Jason every week on his channel, Down with Jason. I'm watching the same show you guys are, and I'm thinking in my head, what the hell are we actually doing anymore? But that's for you guys to decide. I do have a few questions for you. How are you feeling about Vanderpump Rules Season 9? And what do you think about this guest list for Lala Kent and her wedding and the ones who cannot be included? Again, that would be Jax Taylor, the main ones, Stassi Schroeder, and Kristen Doty. Of course, their significant others, all except Kristen, because she no longer has a significant other, no shade, would also not be invited because the Bravo cameras cannot catch them, or else it would look like NBC and Bravo, well, they were recanting on their original position to fire them in the first place. Just saying. All right. Also, don't forget, tonight we are going live for Hot Messy Topics. That'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for an unfiltered, opinionated conversation where you guys get to chime in. Let us know how you feel. If you don't agree, let us know you don't agree. And we're doing the same thing today at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Part 1 reunion with Dana and Jason. Both of those will be subscribers only live chats because it helps us filter out people who come in and kind of attack the chat community. So it makes more sense. Just bear with us. All you have to do is click subscribe. And if somebody's going in on you in the chat, we will make sure that we handle it. Guys, I hope you have a beautiful Thursday and a beautiful rest of your week. This is kind of the decline to our week. We have an amazing interview coming for you tomorrow. I cannot wait to share it. With that, I'll see you so very soon. Bye, guys. Love you.